Hey everyone, what's going on? New Horizon Lawn Care and Landscaping here. We're going to talk a little bit about landscaping and things that you need to do before you do your digging or do your landscaping. I don't care if it's putting a tree in. I don't care if it's tearing just the sod up just to build some sort of form to pour a little piece of concrete. There's one thing you need to do, and it's right here. You need to call Julie, 811. And you're asking me, well, why do I need to call Julie? I ain't digging that deep. I don't care. Any type of digging, earth moving, or anything requires, by state law, in your area, our area is 811, it's one call Julie. It is a free call. And it's to help locate your location, your services. Now, there's going to be a video here played later on in the video of a farmer that, you know, didn't call 811 and they suffered tragic loss. You can prevent this, losing family members, losing a father, a mother, a grandson, a grandpa, a grandma. These people were putting drainage tile in their field, trying to hurry up and get it done before it got cold and snowy and in the bad weather. So they hurried and didn't call 811. They could have called 811, waited your 48 hours, and then from there you have a certain amount of days, which you all know. You have a certain amount of days to start that digging project. I went to a meeting today.
If 100 times, 200 times, and it's these one words, how a word is in there, from. Okay, what's the definition of from? You gotta tell me, you know? I mean, it's a big deal. So you gotta read this, try to understand it, and see what it says, because this is your opportunity. A box where you can type in your support or your disagreement. Now, if you disagree with something or you support it, let us know what you like about it or what you dislike about it. Okay. So provide that information to us. We're asking you to do it. So let me just give you a quick idea on what I'm going to say the top 3 out of those 5 listed. Advance notice. Currently in the law, you have to provide a minimum of 48 hours or 2 business days advance notice, right? In the proposed legislation, it is the day of the call or submitting online does not count.
Tons and tons of people show up. It was a great breakfast, great company, great, awesome friends. We learned a bunch of new stuff. There is some laws changing with 811, and if you want to know those laws, I'm going to leave some links in the description for you guys to go to the 811 Julie website and check all those out. They've got all the information. What are you guys talking when you say I need to locate? What's under the ground? Well, let's talk about that. Not only are you have to worry about gas, water, but how about electric? This is a box, but there's wires coming to this box. How about the electric to somebody's home? Or in this case, multiple homes. See these lines going in the ground? How about someone's cable, internet, fiber optic, pedestals? Anytime you see a pedestal next to a field, there's a line going to that. Whether you interrupt somebody's family call from overseas, or whether you interrupt a great TV show, or you end up cutting someone's water line, or you end up hitting a gas line and killing off one of your neighbors, or killing off you because of an explosion. Well, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit. Every time I do a landscaping job, whether it be anything, we call Julie. If we're going to always call Julie before you dig. Now we're just grinding out a tree stump over there. Always call Julie before you dig. Let's keep this stuff in the ground and not put one of us. Any type of excavating, I call Julie. And
did you know that there are over 2.5 million miles of energy pipelines throughout the United States? And that's just one type of buried utility. These pipelines transport products like gasoline and crude oil, natural gas, and other hazardous products. while it is considered the safest way to transport them, we can still run into trouble if we damage one while excavating. Of course, damaging any underground utility is serious, be it a water main, sewer line, telecommunications cable, or electrical cable. But hitting a high-pressure natural gas or petroleum pipeline, that can be deadly.
But before we start any excavation, we're going to have to do what we call white lining, and white line the area for
Baseball?
No. But right now we're going to put out some stakes and some paint at our proposed excavation site to show everybody else where we intend to dig.
Need some help?
I do.
Ah, yeah, you're supposed to say no.
So we have a little.
Now, as you can see, the guy putting the white flags in the ground, we do this at every area. Normally, if we have a whole front yard we're doing a landscaping job on, we're tearing out bushes, we're ripping out tree stumps, we're, you know, I just basically say I want a whole front yard, basically locate. But if I'm just doing like a tree stump like you seen in the previous video, I just normally say, you know, I make a big 10-foot area around the tree stump, maybe 20 foot, depending on how big the tree stump is. And I'll put flags and write white paint around it. And I'll tell the 811 call that I just am taking out a stump and I need to make sure there's nothing under that stump, whether it be electrical, gas, water, a pipeline, a marathon pipeline, and all that good stuff. So let's get back to the video.
Is that nationwide?
Nationwide.
No
Any
kidding.
phone. Yeah.
I had no idea.
Well, calling 811 is possibly the single most important step in this process.
More important than me on a backhoe?
Unbelievably, yes.
So you just dial 811 on any phone?
Any phone. Matter of fact, I'm going to let you use my phone, and you're going to call in our 811 request.
No kidding. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll make the call.
811.
811, okay.
Hi, this is Megan. How can I help you?
Well, we want to dig a hole, and we're in a field between the corn and a light blue house.
Turns out you need a couple of simple bits of information when making your call to 811 or your State 1 call center's 1-800 number.
We're backhoeing.
No, we're directional drilling.
We're directional drilling.
First, you need to be ready with the exact location of your dig site, the type of work you'll be doing, and your start date. You need to make the call to 811 at least 2 full business days before you want to start digging. A few states require a call 3 or more business days before excavating, so make sure you know your state's requirements.
All right. We'll make sure that facility operators with underground utilities near your project are notified to come and mark. Please keep your one-call ticket verification number in case you need to call us back if someone fails to respond and mark their lines, or if the markings become disturbed or worn away during your project. All right?
Thank you very much for making it really easy. It's really common sense, isn't it? Just dial 811 before you do any digging, and you won't get the shock of your life or remove somebody's cable system.
We just want everyone to be safe and protect the utilities underground.
Well, you do that. You do that well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, after you make your 811 call, you have a dig number, you have all that stuff. You know, you've got your plants, you've got your new sod, you've got all the equipment ready. Don't put that bucket in the ground. Don't rip that bush out until the 48 hours have arrived. Now, you go to your site, just like these guys are. They're having a meeting. They're going through their list and making sure that all the utility companies have came and located. Now, if there's no utility in that area, they will probably say, you know, we've been here, you're okay to dig. There's no, you know, such and such there, but you're okay. But if they haven't marked and there's no flags, no okay that say there's no water lines near you, then you've got to call 811 because someone didn't show up and you've got to go through the process again. Jump off here and let's show you this video. This is the 3-second later movie that is made when a couple farmers did not call 811 and hit a natural gas pipeline. And here's how their story ends. Very sad.
This is actually where I was when I saw the fire, and it was right up over there. So I was under the impression like there was a house over the hill on fire. So we cruised out and we're driving down these roads, and it just kept getting bigger, and kept thinking all right, we're gonna be there now. I mean, it's right there, look at the fire. I mean, it's right in front of us, and we kept finding out we were further away. Until we finally got up to it.
We all remember where we were that morning.
We were working here on the farm. We could actually see the smoke from our farm here, which is about close to 20 miles away.
I remember it was one of those days where you remember where you were. But we didn't know what it was. I mean, we'd never seen something like that before.
It was really cold that day. I remember the wind was blowing like 40 miles an hour, and my job was watch the tile and make sure it's going to the plow correctly and make sure nothing's going on or anything like that. I knew basically what we were doing, and I knew how it worked. If you have a wet hole, then you need to tile that to get the water out of there and take it to somewhere where it's lower ground, like a creek or something like that. Working on Ryan and Rory's farm, it was hard work. They were just really hard-working guys, and they wouldn't leave until the job was done. Michael's job was pretty much the entire summer he was tiling. He was one of my really good friends, and he was running the backhoe. He was behind us in the backhoe, kind of just waiting to when we got to the right spot to where he'd have to dig. Ryan was in the tractor pulling it, and I think Rory was kind of just observing everything, making sure everything's good. The tractor started to spin out, and then they were like, well, we probably just hit a rock or something like that, and like this happens all the time. We'll probably just go back, get another tractor, and we'll probably just hook onto it and pull it out. They started to pull, like right off the bat, that both tractors just kind of started to spin out, and those are big tractors. So I knew something wasn't right. Out of nowhere, I just heard a big boom. The tile plow ruptured into the pipeline, and gas was just spewing out of it. Once the gas got through the intakes of the tractors is when it ignited. And I had about probably 3 seconds where as soon as I heard that boom, I started running as fast as I could. The ground literally started erupting from my feet, and it was like a volcano of dirt. I mean, dirt was just flying up in the air. I mean, it was just insane. It was just like a ball of fire, and I had no idea what was going on. First thing I thought was just to call 911, and all I could hear in the background was just screaming. Michael, his skin was hanging off his body, and most of his clothes was burned off him, and he was in real bad shape. And I looked over to my left, and I see Ryan and Rory on fire, walking through the field. I dropped my phone, and I just ran to them, and I just tried to do whatever I possibly could do to save them.
I was at work. It was a Tuesday. I got up to get my yogurt. That was my morning thing. And I came back, and I had a voicemail from Kathy, my mother-in-law, and from my mom. I called her. I said, "What's going on?" And she said, "I don't know. You need to tell me." I went out, looked at one of my coworkers, and she started freaking out because she had apparently seen on the news that there was an explosion around Dixon. I left work. I didn't know where to go. No one had told, I didn't know any details. Where do you go? Do you drive to the farm? Do I try to figure out where this accident happened? Do you go to the hospital? I didn't have any details. So I was driving down Route 2, you go across the river, you kind of come around a bend, and in that moment, I looked to my left, and there was this huge plume of smoke, and I lost it. The last 5 to 10 minutes of the drive to Dixon, I just kept saying, this can't be real. I'm not ready to be a single mom. got to the hospital, the coroner, I think, came in about 2 or 3 o'clock that afternoon and gave me the news that they were gone.
Father and son, Rory and Ryan Miller, were installing a drainage tile when they hit a natural gas line in December. Federal investigators blame human error for a deadly natural gas explosion.
Michael Koster still fights to recover from burns he sustained back in December. The 20-year-old suffered second and third-degree burns over more than 65% of his body.
Investigators now say no one called the joint utility locating information for excavators before digging.
They were highly respected and they were good at what they did. And it was one of those accidents that, when it was done, made people step back and pause. If an accident can happen to them, it can happen to anyone. Whether you're installing drain tile or doing any sort of digging, it's important to call 811. Then you know where it is safe and it is not safe to dig.
This is 8-inch drain tile right here. We lay it in the ground behind the machine. The machine comes through and digs. The tile goes through a boot and it's laid down in the ground, and then a machine comes back through and covers it up. And through these little slots, water drains. And then it goes up and goes through a system and then goes down to the creek. The last thing you want to do is hit something.
You try and be safe, but like, you just never know when you're gonna make a mistake. You just always call. I mean, it is what it is. You call ahead of time. I knew these guys, and they were smart. They were well educated. They ran a very tight ship. I mean, I would have never guessed, you know, that it could have happened to them.
Without my kids, I would not have been okay. They were my reason to be okay, to wake up that next day and try my best, which I know that there were trips to the bathroom to cry, but I tried my best to show them that you can overcome things like this, that their dad loved them.
Go look in the mirror.
We went to the cemetery on Father's Day. So it would have been 7 months after the accident. I was a mess. And Madeline turned to me and she's like, Mom, I'm really sad too. But I choose to focus on the happy memories that I have than cry about him not being here. From that day forward, I just thought, wow, you're right. That's how I need to live.
This accident was a huge impact on so many different lives.
Roy exemplified the best there is, and his son was just like him. Just a very, very great man. Just a good, more than that, just a good guy. Just somebody who always did the right things. Just a guy you can count on to help you. Just a very, very good guy.
The accident happened right at a month before Kyler was going to become a dad for the first time.
Say I would have died that day, I never would have gotten to meet my little girl.
What's your hair?
She's 3 years old now, and if I would never have gotten to meet her, it would have been hard, and she would have grown up without a dad, and now we have another girl, and being a dad is everything to me.
it makes one farmer go home and reevaluate his safety practices, or it's one dad who goes home and says, you know what, kids, I was gonna work this weekend, but we're not gonna do that. We're gonna go do this instead as a family. Then I'm doing something positive for Ryan's legacy. If this can happen to them, it can happen to anyone. And I don't want it to.
What happens if it starts leaking?
If it starts leaking, you need to call 911, and I need to call our operations center to shut down this high-pressure pipeline immediately.
If damage to an energy pipeline results in a release of any gas or liquid, federal law requires the excavator to immediately call 911 and the utility operator. Excavators are encouraged to cooperate with local emergency responders and other utility companies that could be affected during the emergency situation. In many states, excavation to make emergency repairs or restore service may begin immediately, but excavators should call 811 and the utility operator prior to excavation or as soon as... Like so many jobs in America, this one comes with an extra set of responsibilities that can affect us all. An accident can mean personal injury to a crew member, tragedy for a family, loss of important services to a community, environmental impact from a pipeline release, massive fines for a violator, and all kinds of other nasty stuff. Following the excavation best practices helps to protect you, your co-workers, and our vital underground infrastructure. Calling 811 is the easy part.
Thank you guys for checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed. I know it's kind of a longer video, but I wanted to make something 811, and some of these videos I've seen at my 811 yearly meeting has really impacted my life. I know with spring coming on, a lot of contractors are going to be getting out there doing landscaping for people. But make sure you always call 811. Thanks for watching again, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Lots of awesome more videos coming. See you in the next one.